Hey everyone, I wanted to take some time and do a review video for Age of Mythology Retold. It's launching imminently. The early access period is now available for premium pre-order members on Steam and Xbox, and it's coming out very, very soon here in the first week of September. At the time of recording this, I'm recording this during a preview access period where a game code was provided by World's Edge, so I do want to give them a shout out for that. And this video, again, is going to focus simply on the controller aspect of Age of Mythology Retold. Now, while I am playing this and the gameplay you are seeing is recorded from a PC, the gameplay that you're going to see is virtually identical to what you'll find on the Xbox consoles. It's really the input device that's going to be the differentiating factor between a regular PC review and this review that you'll see here. This is a review of Age of Mythology Retold with a controller. How do you sum up Age of Mythology Retold to someone who may have played the original Age of Mythology back in the day, or maybe even the ported plus version of it in Age of Mythology Extended Edition? I think that Retold is a mix between a remaster and a remake. It plays almost identical to the original game, the Legacy or the Extended Edition, with all of the content from the Titans expansion, as well as a little bit of changes that they've done along the way for game mechanics. It plays so much like the original. I would almost consider it like a remaster plus. Some of the campaign and animations that you see are largely unchanged, so I'm not sure if that makes it more of a remake or a remaster, but that's neither here nor there. Graphically, the game is beautiful. You can zoom in so close to your units, more than I think in any other Age of Empires game with the controller, and the detail is really, really good. From the environments to the units to the way the buildings get destroyed, the way leader powers are dropped, even the portraits of the major gods that you can select through the UI are really fascinating to look at. The controller, the input device that really stands out here for Xbox, you can play this on PC too using a controller. It works really well. To my knowledge, this is the first time that an Age of Empires game is going to have a controller working both on PC and console. AoE 2 Definitive Edition might use a controller. I'm not really too sure. I don't play a whole lot of AoE 2, but I do know in AoE 4, you cannot use a controller on PC. It's only to console. Here, you can use a controller both on PC and on console. The game is also going to have crossplay at launch. That's a first for a game in this series coming to both Xbox and PC. For AoE 2, of course, the game was on PC for 20 years, and then the Definitive Edition came first to PC. Then we had the console launch, and then crossplay. For AoE 4, it was also a very similar situation. It was on PC first, made its way to console. Crossplay was not available at launch. It was added in later, and now it's crossplay. Age of Mythology, though, day one, you can play on Xbox and PC, no problem, between platforms of Steam, Microsoft Store, and the Xbox consoles. World's Edge and Forgotten Empires and the Age of Empires family of companies that work on these titles, they added some new gameplay mechanics for Retold, including reusing leader powers or god powers for the first time. I think that is really cool and a really smart idea. You can actually even have multiple titans, which I thought was really fascinating, and other mechanics make a return as well, such as auto-queuing villagers, the auto-scout feature that I really think is important for console players from AoE 2, so on and so forth. There's a lot here to make it as easy as possible for players who aren't too familiar with a strategy game to pick up and play, more so than I think than the Age of Empires games. Villager presets make a return from Age of Empires 2 and Age of Empires 4. It's back in Mythology Retold. If you don't know what that is something you can select at any point in time and select a group of resources, and your villagers will automatically go and get those resources that you told them to get. You don't have to individually select a villager to go chop down a tree. You just select one of these pie charts, and all of your villagers will accommodate to what you selected. This also works on PC as well, by the way. I'm not sure. I never saw that on AoE 4. I know that's not there in AoE 4, but I'm unsure if that's in AoE 2 on PC. The villager presets you could do on PC, whether you're on controller or mouse and keyboard. You can use a villager preset there if that's your preferred platform. And also villager limits are here. It's a little different from whichever pantheon you choose, but for Greeks, for example, that limit's set to 100. And I actually kind of like that. It sets a max ceiling for your economy units, so you can focus a little bit more on your military. And there's fewer resources to track in Mythology compared to an Age of Empires game, but it's a little bit more diverse on how you use those resources. And the dynamic of units are a little bit easier, but across pantheons, I think it can get a little bit confusing on which units belong to which pantheon or where they come from, how myth units are added into the equation. I think that's all a little bit more complicated, but I think overall easier to pick up once you kind of get the hang and then kind of start exploring some of these characters and what works best for your playstyle. I apologize, I'm losing the ability to speak. From what I've seen for about an hour of gameplay, the campaign mode seems largely unchanged from the Legacy or Extended Edition in terms of content or how the story is written. They give you a couple of additional lines of dialogue, like you can use villager presets now. They're kind of encouraging you to use that feature. But I think the pound for pound, the way the story points are going are unchanged. But I haven't gone through the entire campaign at the time of recording, so I can't completely confirm that for you. I think the UI overall is pretty great. There's lots to customize here for both mouse and keyboard and controller. Like, for example, you can customize the strength of the magnetism of how your controller what you're looking at will snap to buildings automatically. You can turn that off completely, which is something I did. You can also change the acceleration of the paintbrush by holding down A. How quickly do you want that to expand? Or how big do you want the paintbrush to be overall? That's all stuff you can customize in the settings menu. Needless to say, from a controller standpoint on how you're going to use this thing, it's largely unchanged from Age of Empires 2 or Age of Empires 4 on console. So if you've played those games in the past, a lot of the movements that you're used to, like pressing Y from a villager to construct a house, that all carries over. So I think you're going to find yourself largely at home if you are already adjusted or familiar with playing the controller from AoE 2 or AoE 4, with some minor differences. I think this is the best kind of remake or remaster you could expect from Age of Mythology. It's been more or less 22 years since the original game came out, and really was one of my favorite games from my childhood. I played the Legacy version on the CD. You know, when they came in the big boxes, they were like a book. It was so good. I played that so much, and I'm so glad it's getting the proper treatment. Better late than never. I'm so glad that it's here. Nothing from Legacy that you would expect missing is missing. All the content that you would expect to be from Age of Mythology is present. It's here. I think the community is really excited for it. I'm really excited for it. To be honest, I really didn't find a whole lot that was really bugging me about this playing in my time from it. Again, my playstyle might be a little bit different than yours. I have seen some people talking online that spectator mode may not be working fully at this time. I'm sure they're going to fix that. I know that the modding community is going to get behind this, making custom scenarios and maps and things like that. I'm just excited to see where the game goes from here. I know there's new content planned officially for the game. I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to be added there. And again, I'm just happy that AOM is getting the spotlight that it really deserves after watching Age of Empires 1, 2, and 3 get remastered, then the introduction of Age of Empires 4. Finally, we're getting to Age of Mythology. I really hope that this game does well. I hope that if you're interested, you consider making a purchase and picking this up. And as a shameless plug, I hope you join our Discord server to find friends to play Age of Mythology. Overall, great job to World's Edge, Forgotten Empires, and the rest of the companies that have worked on this title. It really is a dream come true, and I'm so glad that this is here. I'm not really going to give this a numbered rating because I don't think that really justifies a game review. All I'm just going to tell you is I've had a great job playing it. If I had to purchase the game not knowing as much about Age of Mythology, I would recommend a purchase for this game. However, again, as I stated at the beginning of this video, the game key was provided to me, so I'm a little bit biased, if you will, towards that recommendation. But I think you can check out some other content creators' reviews, make your own judgment, and see if it's worth a pickup for you. We're going to be covering a lot of Age of Mythology Retold here on the channel, moving in way into the future, playing multiplayer games both on console and controller inputs, and I hope you come along for the ride. So be sure to check out the channel if you're interested in that content. We've made a couple of other guides, such as getting started with AOM Retold, best tips for new beginners, things like that. That's all on the channel for you to check out. That's going to do it for me. Thank you so much for watching, everybody, and I'll see you, James.